Hello everybody, it's Becca at Sew Down Twisted, and I thought I would do a tutorial just to make some simple scrap pockets. I was mass making them last night, and I thought, I think there's people who are going to want a tutorial, so I might as well just do it and have it ready. So yeah, these are just sort of using up scrappy bits of stuff and just creating little pockets that you can either keep as standalone things to insert into belly bands, or you can just glue them in. But I had some scraps of this one left over, and I thought, well, I wouldn't ordinarily want the dotty side showing on things, so I thought, well, that's ideal if it's just going to be, you know, glued into something you won't see it. So I'll talk you through some supplies and we'll get making. So as I say, I was making these last night, so I kind of have this basket that's just full of things. I was doing some stamping and I just felt like making something actually finished, so hence I started the pockets. So you're going to want some scrap pieces of backing card. That can be patterned or plain. I find it's a great way to use up the plain card that I have left over if I've been making a folio or something and I've had a plain background and just like patterned panels. So you're going to want a couple of those. Got some other bits. You can actually, this one, I think I tore this one, but yeah, you can use embossed card as well. That would work really nicely. But yeah, I've just got kind of little scrappy bits there. I'm using some coffee dyed square edged paper doilies. I've also got oval ones, and yeah, okay, we've got those for some ephemera. You could actually use, if you've got any old books that have got the really thick paper like this, you could use that as your backing instead of the card. If you prefer to use that, that's fine. Oh, we've got another piece of card there. Some more doilies could also be fine. And then just a range of bits of ephemera to decorate with. As you can see, I've got lots of bits of ephemera in there. And bits that I stamped last night, and some more sheet music. So ordinarily I don't, obviously, as you know if you've watched any of the videos, I don't ordinarily just have a pile of scraps here going through for tutorials, but as I say, this was just left over, so I've got most of what I want ready anyway, but just a little guide of the things that you might want. Okay, so you're also going to need some glue. As often is the case, I'm using Yoo-Hoo's liquid gel glue, some scissors or a cutting board, paper trimmer, that's the word I'm looking for, paper trimmer, decorative corner punch if you want decorative corners, which is what I've done on here, if you can see that. Don't know if you can or not. Or you can just use a regular rounded corner punch, that's fine if that's all you want to do. You can also, you don't have to use music paper for the fronts either, you know, if you've got some scrap patterned paper that you want to use, you know, you can absolutely use that instead for your front pieces. I was just kind of going through a piece of music paper that I had here, and most of the things, these things will be going into Happy Mail as well. I'll keep a couple back for me. So if you're one of the people that I'm sending out wishes for handmade things at the moment or in the future from the Facebook groups, then you may find yourself with some of these heading your way. Right, so let's get this started. Now, the first thing you're going to do is figure out what you're having on the front of your piece here. So I think I'm gonna, I keep dropping things, you have to excuse me. I'm gonna kind of have, I don't really want that sort of extra gappy bit there on these, so that's fine. So I'm just going to make a little cut there. I'm going to turn that around and just give it another little cut there, so I know that that's kind of the basics of what I want size wise. So we'll just trim that in a bit, and then I can just tear that in the general direction, and I tend to sort of pull and push and, you know, that kind of thing to get a nice raggedy edge on it like that. You can tweak it further as well if once you get onto, that was this piece, once you get onto your actual card, and then for that bit you can just hold that down and just give it a pull and it will be fine. There we go. Oh, I'll just trim that little bit off there. I think I just caught that a little bit too far, but it's fine. Okay, so now we have that. Marvellous. Get rid of those bits, don't need those anymore. Let's get these other bits out of the way as well. Right, so that's that component done. Then I'm gonna get my paper doily, and I'm just gonna, now the way I do this, I know it might seem a bit strange to some folk, I fully appreciate that. I tend to just glue, rather than cutting it down first, I just tend to kind of wodge a bit of glue around just to make sure that it's going to hold, you know, without all sort of seeping through and stuff, and just get that corner down, because if you work with these, you know, they can be quite fragile and ridiculous. They're total hypochondriacs. These things, they just fall apart. Right, okay. That bit down there, lovely. Okay, so now that I know that that's nice and secure, and I'm not going to move when I'm cutting and not go all ridiculous and tear on me while I'm trying to cut it. There we go, fabulous. I don't know if it's just me, but they always seem to just shred. If I'm trying to cut them loose, they just seem to go ridiculous. Okay, a little bit there. I hate these things. Okay, and then getting a little bit up in there as well. And finally, when it wants to let go, just get a bit more behind it as well. There, fabulous. Okay, that's that bit done. So now we're going to glue. Oh no, I'm lying, we're not going to glue it, because you want this edge to be inked before you put it on there. The outside edges don't matter, because they'll get inked when you do the outside of the base. But while you're there, just, if like me, you're a autopilot. There we go, fabulous. Okay, so now this is a real speed tutorial, this one, isn't it? Okay, that's in there. Pop that down. Marvellous. So as you can see, it's already taking shape quite nicely, except for I'm just gluing it to my board there, which I didn't really want to do. Okay, so now I take my corner trimmer that I actually have a piece stuck in there, and we're just gonna pop out those corners, because it just gives a nice finish, really, doesn't it? It's not necessary, but it just looks nice. I do like a decorative corner. Okay, so now we're just gonna go around with the ink, and I try to make sure that I get a little bit on the edges of the paper doily as well, and not just on the edge of the card. So I kind of go at it a bit flatter at that point, you know, rather than just on the edge. So it just helps to make sure that the doily gets a bit on there as well. And then that's your base. So as I say, it really is that quick and simple to do that part. But effectively now, all you're doing is decorating it however you see fit. You know, put whatever you want on it and wherever you want. You know, I've never been one to tell people how to decorate things because, well, it's a very personal thing, I think. You know, it's not a formula. It's, I don't know, maybe that's just me. But I like to let people use their own, you know, use your imagination and figure out what you think looks beautiful and go with it. Because what I think looks beautiful and what you think looks beautiful may not actually be the same thing. So it's nice to just be able to personalize something, I think. And I like to think that whenever, you know, if I send somebody things, then, you know, they're getting a little piece of me and what I love. My weird love for vintage things. When anyone who knows me knows I'm anything but the vintage type, and yet I just cannot stop myself. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, let's have another little sticker out of here. Let's go for that one up there. That's one of the washy ones, which is kind of nice. I'm just gonna pop that up there, I think. Yeah. Okay. And then what I would do with this one is I would also get some of my little paper roses and put some of those on there, or the little fabric roses that you can get, little fabric clusters or gems, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, you've got yourself just a cute little pocket, either as I say for mass making for happy mails and stuff, you know, or to stick in your own journals to just mass make and save them. Maybe do them in different themes, you know, with different embellishment on them, and then you've got something for the different types of journal that you might do. I actually think a bit of nice ruffled lace fabric might look nice going down that edge there on this one. But obviously, as I say, that's something, you know, if you wanted to lace trim them, go ahead. I do like a bit of lace in my vintage projects. Okay, we'll just give that a second to dry, because this one is actually elasticated, which is fabulous, except for when you realise that you've glued it stretched and then it tries to ping back. Just gonna round that off just slightly so it's not quite as severe. And I found the perfect place to put it in this journal that I'm doing, because I inked this page before I had a stamping platform, and as you can see the ink didn't quite come out, so I can just glue that over the top of it. Nobody will ever know. The beauty of this kind of journaling is that you can cover your mistakes with something else, and nobody knows unless you're filming it and putting it on YouTube. Right, there we go. Let's pop that on there. And now we can just take some of the stamped ephemera that I made. Little tip, if you coffee dye some paper all scrunched up like that and then stamp on it, it really ages it nicely. So there's a little tip for you. But yeah, we can basically just stuff that, and there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that one, guys. As always, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you did like it, of course. And I'll be back with more tutorials soon. I'd love it if you leave me a comment and let me know if you make some of them. Feel free to tag me on the Facebook groups, etc. if you make some and want to show them off, because I'd love to see them. And I'll see you soon, guys. Happy crafting.